The thing is whether parents should monitor children's social media activity. That is the topic, and I am speaking against it. Parents should not be monitoring. We all know man is a social animal, right? That's been there since ages. But more of it, man is a social media animal these days. And right from childhood, children, everybody, social media is something that has its presence in every area of our lives, be it entertainment, be it studying, or anything you want to look up something. So social media is something that is, I say a necessary evil, right? And you cannot do without it. So children, whether it is parents, so social media is there in every aspect of our life. Now imagine somebody wanting to monitor every aspect of your life. First of all, is it practical? Is it feasible? You may have children, at school. Their school work is there. Their friends are there on Facebook, on social media. They want to connect with, their common interest groups. So many avenues are there for them to interact. So, is it practical for a parent to monitor everything that their child does on social media? That is the first question. The second would, is it a principle? Is it a good principle to actually do it? Imagine we getting monitored by somebody. I mean, everybody, if you take a family, the spouse also has good intentions only, right? Our mother-in-law might have good intentions. Everybody has good intentions for everybody. But monitoring is like spying. Do we like it? As adults, do we like it? And it has been proven that the self of a person, of a child, is developed at the age of 15, and it is almost completing, or the identity is formed by 24 months. The child is aware that it is a unique entity in this world, and its ego, its self-respect, self-esteem, everything develops by that time. So it considered itself a human being, himself or herself as a full human being. So imagine subjecting such a child to monitoring. That sends a message that I don't trust you. That is the first message that is being sent to the child. And imagine a child being brought up in such an environment that sends out this message day in and day out. And third, how long do you think you can do this for your child? When do you think your child will be ready? When do you think you can, stop monitoring? Or do you think this is till you are 60, the child is 40, or whatever, you want to continue doing this? Because a child is a child to you, right? Till whatever age. Even if you ask a 70-year-old mom, she's still worried about her child. A 45-year-old son, what is he doing in his career? He didn't get promotion. These things are always there. The worrying doesn't stop. But monitoring, is that a practical thing to prolong? So, how much and how long and in what way? These are the questions that need to be answered when you say, I want to monitor my child's usage of social media, right? Times are bad. Children no longer obey their parents, and everyone is writing a book. You know who wrote this? This was told by Marcus Tullius Cicero in 104 BC. So, from 104 BC, always the perception has been that times are bad, right? So we always say that times are not like how it was in our times. It is getting worse day by day. It is getting more, situations for danger. The children are getting exposed to this and that. So that is something that has been there in man's, thought process right from the BC era, right? When there was no social media, there was nothing. People just spoke with each other. There was no this idea of fashion, but that thought has been a constant one. So this is only our fears that is making us do such things. So what as parents we need to do is just objectively think and sit and see what is the solution that can actually allay our fears in this situation, right? So when do you think your child is going to be ready for the world? There is on one end you have the dangers, right? The other end you want to give them protection. So imagine a trapeze artist who is practicing his first jump on the rope. So there is a coach. Does the coach jump along with the trapeze artist, or does he ensure that he has trained him enough He has the safety net readily available, and then he just see you go and do your thing. I am here to catch you. There is a safety net available here which will catch you if you fall. So that is the kind of messaging that has to go. You cannot jump along with the child on the rope or on the bar, right? That is not going to work. Sorry, how many minutes? 2 more minutes. Thank you. So this is like creating a fail-safe space for the child, right? What we need to do is build that environment for the child where if they fail or if they get caught in any sort of trouble, I am not saying troubles are not there. The troubles will always be there. They will always have some situation challenging. What should be the first thought in the child's mind? The child should think, I should go and tell my parents, right? They will find a way out for me. That is the kind of first thought that should come to the child's mind, and not like, oh my God, what will happen if my parents get to know this? And how do you build that kind of a thought process in the child's mind? This doesn't happen in one day or one single conversation. It takes a lot of hard work and perseverance. Right from their childhood, they need to be taught. First of all, you need to educate yourself. As parents, we need to first educate ourselves of what are the perils are there around us of social media. We need to be a step ahead. We need to be a step ahead. We need to first understand the perils and then keep educating them, keep talking to them, keep the dialogue open. Not like I will monitor you, I am spying on you. That is not how the family works. We don't even like it in our work environment, leave alone a family environment. So that is not the right thing to do about spying our children, monitoring them. You can have a dialogue where they voluntarily come and say, oh mom, some stranger pinged me on social. You know, we were out in the streets. Our parents didn't know where we were. We used to go in the morning, go wherever we wanted to roam, somewhere, you know, down the alleys, at a park, at a friend's house. We used to drink water from the taps. That's how our childhood has been. And we come home when it's dark and some uncle or auntie shouts in the street, hey, go back home, you know. And we come back home. That's how our childhood was, right? And it is not that there were no dangers back then. Dangers are there. The dangers are more. We suffer more from imaginary scenarios rather from the actual ones. 90% of scenarios that we imagine in our mind actually do not happen. They are just, you know, our mind playing games. Such children we have grown up in such a childhood, and now what many people are doing is helicopter parenting, constantly hovering around their children, you know, trying to see what they are doing, what water they are drinking, what media. I mean, what happens is it gives the children a thrill, you know, to do things stealthily. If you keep doing this, the children get a kick out of doing things stealthily. That's what we are actually generating in the children. But if you actually leave them open, say do what you want, but you have that channel open of they coming back, and at the end of the day over dinner or during a walk, you talk to them. They tell you about their day, how it has gone, whom all they met, what all things they have done. Wouldn't that be a better and, you know, foolproof solution? How many scenarios can you actually imagine and keep putting a tab on it? You cannot. We really cannot. The cyber bullies or whomever was listed, they are way ahead of us. We can't even imagine. And what children do, children are actually, in many social media, there is a way you can create one account which the parent monitors, one account which the parent doesn't even know of. These are the times we are talking about. So a parent cannot actually monitor everything. Children are more tech savvy than the parents. They find out hacks. They find out, you know, how to delete the browser history. They find out lot of ways of circumventing this. So monitoring is really not the solution unless you keep the dialogue channel open with the child. If the child does something, the child should feel confident, you know, to come back to you and speak about it. That can happen only if you stop monitoring the child. You just say, I am there for you. That is the thing that we have to develop in the child. So even adults, right? If we think we are so intelligent, today many adults are falling scam to social media. What do you say about that? Many adults have lost money. So do you think we can really monitor our children? They are way ahead of us. So unless you tackle it as a group, as one unit, you tackle the world and you prepare the child for the world. You cannot keep putting nets or safety nets or virtual walls everywhere they go. That is just not practically possible. If somebody thinks that is possible, it needs to be a case study, I would say. It's just not possible. You just have to instill in the child the value system, that is the where the danger and you trusting meet, that is the meeting point. The value system that you inculcate in a child from birth, that is what will bring them back to you, that is what will prevent them from going haywire, whether it is social media or not. So the child will come and tell you, see, this is what happened today, I am friends with this person pinged me, or whatever it is, right? You cannot keep them away from it, that's just not going to happen. But do they come back to you? That is something that we can work upon. And educating them, hey, I read about this scenario, see, this child, this has happened. There was some social media games a few years back where asking children to do some weird stuff, and children lost their lives also. If parents had been educated enough and told them beforehand, hey, see, this is something that is going around in the world today, are you aware of it? Do you talk these during your lunchtime with your children, with your peers? So then they would open up to you, right? And it's not like you immediately reprimand them, you tell them that this is happening, how do you think we should tackle this? And you also tell your failure scenarios. Yeah, I got fooled like this today. So the child now trusts you and comes back to you saying, oh my, this happened to me, this happened to my friend. So that is how you make them ready for the world and the challenges that are out there. You cannot be there hovering around them like a helicopter, breathing down their neck. That will only make them more resentful, and they will get a thrill out of rebelling against you. That's what we are paving a path for, right? I would like to quote Aristotle here. Young people are high-minded because they have not yet been humbled by life, nor have they experienced the force of circumstances. This has been told by Aristotle. So he spoke about our ancestors who were young then. So this declinism, which I call it, this is a constant thing that people have about the next generation. Every generation feels the next generation is bad. That is called as declinism. Whereas there are studies that have proven that it is not so. It doesn't happen that way. It is only because of our bias. There is a reminiscent bump, that psychologically it is attributed to that, where if you interview a 70-year-old, they always tend to reminisce more about their 10 years, 12 years, 30 years. Right? After that, it's a blur for them, and then they remember things that are 60. So the period of struggle, they don't remember. So only the good times they remember, and they say, oh, our times were good. But what you went through as challenges, as dangers, people tend to forget that. So that is one of the reasons. And the positivity effect, we only tend to remember the good things. It is evolutionary thing that we have to forget bad things that has happened to us, because that's how we can survive. It is a survival thing that evolution has given us. So we tend to forget what bad things happened to us. We remember the good things, and we think that the next generation is bad. They will undergo so many dangers. But that's not how it is. The challenges of an era has been the same. It is different. I would not say it has declined or it has increased. It is different. That's how it has happened. And studies have shown, that teen pregnancy has come down by 70% from the 80s to today because of more awareness. So we cannot always say people, that the days are going bad. It is the way it is. It is just our exposure and the more information overload that we are getting from everywhere that is making us think like that. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, about the blue whale, thanks for giving the name. Yeah, see, I don't know if the parents we even spoke with the child or they made the child aware. We both don't know that, right? But I think if the child had been made aware, if the child had been, would have had a chance to talk in their dinner conversation with the parents, somebody is asking me to commit suicide, that would have prevented it. That is the channel I'm talking about, to keep it open. Right? By monitoring, we take that away from the child. We don't keep the channel open. We just keep them in our grip. And when we fail, the child fails along with us. But there is a power in tackling a problem together. You might not know all the solution. When the child comes to you saying somebody is threatening me, bullying me, you both can figure out ways. Right? Because each situation needs its own way of handling it. There is no one prescriptive solution for all this. And you said till 18 they can be monitored. So at 18 does a switch turn on that, okay, from today you are all good to take on the world. There is no such switch, right, in the human personality. It is always transitory. It is transitioning, right, from childhood to this. So what happens? We tend to see, right, when children suddenly go to college, who have been, totally under restraint at home, who have been constrained, when they suddenly sense that freedom, they go haywire. Their first semester, their marks fall. they cannot handle that sudden rush of freedom. That is a common occurrence, right? You cannot suddenly give freedom and send the child out into the world. That doesn't happen. It has to be a slow process, and it has to have the taste of freedom right from its birth. It is not a sudden thing when at 18, okay, I suddenly become all enlightened. That's not how it works for human personality, right? And these things will happen only if there is support from the parents. And if you know, if the child knows my parent is anyway monitoring me, he will only build resentment and try to overcome it in some way or the other, figure out ways, right? And what you are saying is all good after the effect. After the effect, what can you do? You can't do anything. But what I'm saying is having dialogues where the child tells you what happened that day, and comes and tells you this is what is happening with me. It is a continuous process. It is not a one-time thing where you can just say that, oh, okay, today this happened. Can we handle it? It doesn't happen that way. So this is what I've been stressing upon. You need to have a constant dialogue, and education. You need to get educated along with the child. Blue whale thing, which I again going back to. The parents need to be a step ahead and talk to the child. They are learning along with the children. It is not that the child learns and tells you, or you learn and tell the child. Children are exposed to many more things among their peers, and they are exposed to a lot of other things. You can learn through the child, right? And try to figure out more in your own way, and then stop these things from happening.